getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line. So I'm not.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. It's your boy Scott. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barbchair Scott. You can follow HNB Media, HNB Media TV on Twitter, and at HNB Media on Instagram. And of course, you can follow the Barbershare Network on Twitter and Instagram at BarberschairNet. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/5. Patreon.com/Barbers Network. It's been a long day so far. 3 different tiers, $5 tier, 79th and Hollis tier. We got new content we're going to be dropping on this week. We got the other $5 tier if you just want summer sessions. That includes the videos too. And of course, the Barber's Chair all access fee for $10 where you get everything under the sun. Hopefully you checked it out. For those of you who do subscribe, all 74 y'all, I appreciate y'all. And we're going to continue to keep pumping out content for y'all, man. It's a lot of things going on in sports. Been a crazy 2 weeks since the last time we recorded. But before we get into the actual sports that's going on, I'm going to start this off with my sound off. My sound off is a somber sound off, man. I want to give a rest in peace to Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, one of the founders of the NWO, the Outsiders, which is my favorite WCW tag team of all time. He recently passed a couple days ago due to complications from hip surgery, man. First of all, I just want to put prayers up to all his family and friends, especially Kevin Nash, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, you know, the whole Click gang, man. I just want to give a little shout out because Scott Hall was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. I was a big wrestling head as a kid, which a lot of us who grew up, you know, who grew up in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, the early 2000s, a lot of us were wrestling heads. If you weren't watching WCW or WWF or WWE as they call it now, I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but and I was mainly a WWE, WWF guy. I wasn't huge on WCW, but when I saw the NWO, I just had to watch whenever they were on, man. And I was a big fan because, you know, also when I was a kid, you know, I liked people who had my name, you know what I'm saying? And I was a big Scottie Pippen fan before I found out he was a cuck, but that's a whole different discussion. But I was a huge Scott Hall fan. He had my name. And then just see, he was like one of the coolest wrestlers of all time. I remember that ladder match with him and Shawn Michaels, you know, the NWO. They made Hulk Hogan look cool. If you can make corny-ass Hulk Hogan look cool, that tells you everything to know about them. And just, you know, we all know he had his problems with alcohol and things of that nature, but he got his life on track, and he was looking so good. He'd been in the Hall of Fame twice. You know, as a member of NWO, and of course himself as Razor Ramon. And he just gave so many dope wrestling moments. You know, and everybody would throw up, you know, the Too Sweet. If you're a big NWO guy, everybody threw that up, man. And, you know, it was just, you know, it was one of those somber moments when you realize, you know, these idols, guys you idolize in your childhood who are going now. And it's, you know, 63 is super young to be dying, man. So I'm just, just been thinking about some of my favorite moments, been rewatching old matches, watching a couple old documentaries over the last couple of days, man. So once again, my prayers out to his family and friends. We're going to always remember Scott Hall on this side, man. So salute to Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. We're going to keep saying, hey, yo, over here, man. So that's my sound off for this week, man. But let's get into it, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. My brother Flows will join us in a moment. We're going to talk about all the things going on with the Bears and free agency, but we've got a lot of stuff with NFL. Got a little bit. MLB is back. Baseball's back. As you can see, my White Sox gear on, man. It's trying to make another run at that World Series championship. And, of course, we're going to talk about NBA. And we've got Goofy Mog of the week later on, man. But we're going to start off with the GOAT. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. is back. He is back, ladies and gentlemen, after being only retired for 2 years. And can you really say he was really retired? Because maybe he was just in his regular offseason. But after announcing his retirement back in January, like a week or two after they got eliminated by the Rams, it really looked like it was over. It really looked like it was over. And all of a sudden, this past Sunday, and then there was rumors leading up to it, like, it's Tom Brady done. It's Tom Brady done. You know, great players, especially guys like, you know, him and Michael Jordan, they don't really know when to actually close the chapter, man. And when you've been somebody, he's been in the league for 22 years. And even before that, you know, being in college football has been a part of his life forever. So, I mean, at first I thought it was just, you know, he's just going through the regular, you know, motions of being retired, not knowing what to do. But on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, I took a little nap. I was a little tired. I think it was the daylight savings time fucking with me. But I woke up to a lot of text messages and I was like, okay, who the hell died? Why are people blowing up my phone like this? And to see that Tom Brady was is coming back. And I think it's fun. I think it's fun for the league. It's fun for us Tom Brady fans because, you know, he's still playing well. This is not like he been playing like shit. And you know, and Father Time was like, "Yo, you just got to sit down." I mean, he had his best statistical year last season. Should have been the MVP. I don't care what nobody says. You know, Aaron Rodgers won it because he be throwing that ball out of bounds instead of getting interceptions. But more yards, more touchdowns. He should have been the MVP. But now he's coming back. You know, and when he said unfinished business, which is funny to me because I'm like, what the hell is unfinished? I mean, you got 7 fucking Super Bowl rings. You got every fucking passing record known to man. What else is there to do? But he just loves the game too much. And I know we were out here, you know, making jokes on Twitter. Oh, he had too much for his kids, you know, things of that nature. He didn't want to do all of that. And so we got breaking news is coming from Ian Rappaport, which is we're doing this live, everything on it. Von Miller is going to the Buffalo Bills for 6 years, $120 million. Give shout out to my producer, Pat Vito, for hitting me with that as you're recording. That is a lot of goddamn money for Von Miller. I'm just going to say that. A lot of damn money for Von Miller at this stage in his career. This was 4 years ago. I would understand. But at the same time, I'm not mad at the Bills saying we need to go out there and get a championship. You know, they were so damn close last year with, you know, that shootout with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I believe if they were to get past that game, that they would have won the Super Bowl. And Von has 2 rings. Von was one of the missing pieces for the Rams in that championship this past season. So maybe that's gonna help them. You know, it's definitely gonna help them on defense because we know that was their problem at the end of that game, not being able to stop Pat with 13 seconds left. But that's massive. That's massive. 120 million. But I'm not mad at Von. Go get your money, man. There's a lot. There might be some more breaking news going on today as we're recording this. And this is Wednesday, March 16th. And, you know, we got baseball free agency. Today's first official day with teams can sign with NFL free agency. So we got a lot of things going on. Chris Bryant signed earlier today with the Colorado Rockies for 7 years, $182 million. No trade clause. Of course, we'll get into baseball later. Just keeping you updated with a lot of these things. Khalil Mack was introduced, as you can see. I got my 52 in the background, man. He will always be a Chicago Bear. But I'll get into that into a minute. But yeah, salute to Tom Brady. I'm glad he's back. As the biggest fan of his that I know, I'm going to enjoy watching him again this season. And they got a good chance to try to run it back, man. You know, they're getting all their guys coming back. We still don't know about Gronk yet, but if Gronk does play, we know it's going to be with Brady. And if you look at the landscape of the NFC, it's actually a perfect transition to our next topic. There's really nothing going on in the NFC. I mean, of course, Aaron Rodgers is back with the Packers, so they're going to have to be dealt with, even though we don't think that team's going to be as good because of, you know, that big-ass contract I'm about to break down. It's a real extensive contract, and we don't know what's going to happen with Devontae Adams. They lost a lot of defenders. Zarius Smith is gone. He signed with the Baltimore Ravens today. So we don't really know what kind of team the Packers are going to have around them. Is that defense going to be as good as it was last year? Is the offense going to be as good as it was last year? They already lost offensive linemen to the Bears. There's a lot of question marks on top of them not being able to win a playoff game as it is. And then you got the Rams. The Rams, you know, they just lost Von Miller, which is going to hurt their defense a little bit. We don't know the status of Odell Beckham Jr. We don't know if he's going to come back. Things of that nature. So, you know, they're going to be the champs. They should be respected. They should be the team to beat. But if you're Tom Brady, you're looking at the NFC like, okay, I'm going to let the AFC youngins and Russell Wilson and all of them fight themselves to death, and then I can step in and try to get my 8th championship, man. So it's going to be interesting. It's funny just how the trajectory of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers changed in 48 hours. I mean, just a week ago, we was over here talking about, are they going to get into the Jimmy Garoppolo race? Like, it was that damn bad because they didn't know what they're going to do at quarterback. So now they got to go back, and now they can think about championships, man. But let's get into this Aaron Rodgers contract. So Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking at it right now, has signed a 3-year, $150 million contract. Now, it's a different kind of contract. It's not really 3 years. If you look at it, it's $41.95 million guaranteed this season for the 2022 season. It's fully guaranteed in the form of $40.8 million roster bonus to be treated as a signing bonus for cap purposes, and a base salary of 1.5 million, 1.15 1.15 million. And in 2023, he's going to make 59.465 million guaranteed. And in 2024, he will be making $49.25 million, which is guaranteed only depending on what his injury status is, the signing. And here's the the thing that goes with it, the clause. If Rodgers only plays one season or retires or gets released before 2023, the Packers would have to eat $68 million in dead cap. That is a ridiculous number that you're gonna have to eat. I thought the Bears had to pay a little Mac was big with the $24 million, but that is fucking ridiculous. But they have an option to void 2 years in 2025 and 2026 for salary cap help. So hope that broke that down for you. To me, this isn't a 3-year contract. From the way I'm reading this is a year-to-year thing. And on the Packers side, if you're a Packers fan, you should be happy because at least he's fully committed to you. I don't think a year from now we're going to be doing does he want to go somewhere else? It's either he's gonna stay with the Packers or he's gonna retire. We don't have to worry. If you're a Packer fan, you don't have to worry about him playing for another team. He's either going to be a Packer or he's gone. So as far as the dead cap, taking away my Bears bias away for a minute, I think it's a good deal because when you got a player of Aaron Rodgers' caliber, you have to give him fucking money. Trust me, Packers fans. The life of not having a franchise quarterback is not the life you want to live, okay? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like if you follow Twitter, it's like that tweet on Twitter where they say you don't want to date in this dating pool. He said they out here pegging. Like they out here, you don't want to have a quarterback that you don't know nothing about. I understand y'all been spoiled the last 30 years with Brett Favre and now Aaron Rodgers. And I saw a couple Packers fans, we don't want Aaron Rodgers back, which is like asinine. It's super crazy to me. You don't want this life. Now, I hope we found the one in Justin Fields. I have no fucking idea. I think he's going to be a franchise quarterback, but I don't fucking know. You know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Yes, he hasn't won a Super Bowl since the fucking Obama administration. Yes, he hasn't won a playoff game in a couple years. I get all that, but this dude has won his 4th MVP, back-to-back MVPs. Even though he's 38 years old, he's still at the top of his fucking game, despite the fact that he's a bozo. He's a great fucking quarterback. So you pay that man every fucking dollar and you try to maximize this window as large as you can. Who knows? Maybe in a year from now, and he's like, sayonara, I'm out. But at least you give yourself another chance. Now, if you look at the Jordan Love side of things, I know you're like, draft him 2 years ago. You need to see what you need to do. His 30-year options come up. I get all of that. But when you have to choose between him and Aaron Rodgers, you have to pay Aaron Rodgers. So on the non-biased Bears fan, I'm not mad at that contract. Now, my Bears fan hat said, fuck him. My Bears fan hat also doesn't really care because it's like, this Bears team is not going to be good. Everything is predicated on building this offense around Justin Fields and just seeing if Justin Fields is the guy. And if Justin Fields is the guy, that means you have to build around him. So when Aaron is done playing, now the division should be yours. That's what you need to put this together. So in long term, I don't really care about that. Like, it's not like we're contenders and Aaron is standing in my way. So, but it's a good deal to me if you're a Packer fan. Now, other QB carousels going on. We got Russell Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos, man, and that came out of nowhere last Wednesday. It was really just random out of nowhere. Right, a couple hours after the Aaron Rodgers news, Aaron Rodgers announced he was going to come back. That was a topic for a little bit, and boom, Russell Wilson to Denver. And this AFC West, first of all, I want every AFC West game televised. This is hands down the best division in football. And as good as Russell Wilson is, he's probably the 3rd best quarterback in that division. We all know Pat's number 1, Jay Herbo's number 2, and then Russ will be number 3. And I know a lot of people make fun of Derek Carr. Derek Carr is not a bad quarterback, man. I think Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. Is he elite? Is he like those 3? No, he's not. But he's the guy that you can win games with. And I do think the Raiders will not be a push around. I mean, they're one of the 2 guys who actually made the playoffs this year. I mean, the Chargers, as great as Justin Herbert is, they didn't make the playoffs this year because of tweaking against the fucking Raiders. So I definitely think the Raiders will be in there. The Raiders made a big deal today, signing Chandler Jones from the Arizona Cardinals, which is huge. Him and Max Crosby should be a crazy pass rush. I know they're going to add some more people to that. They're going to be a force too. And Denver is an interesting situation because yes, Russ makes them a lot better. This is a team that since Peyton Manning has retired, that they've had a problem trying to find a quarterback. And if you want to keep it a buck, even the year they won the Super Bowl, that was really all the defense because Peyton Manning's corpse was out there that last year. You know what I'm saying? Vaughn and them carried them to the finish line because they really had nothing. There was times where Brock Osweiler was looking better than Peyton. So it's been a while since they've had good quarterback play, and they've got a really good defense. They've got some solid wide receivers, got a good running back. So I'm interested to see if Candace take them over the top. But I really, really love what the Los Angeles Chargers are doing. Of course, they got my man Mac. Him on the other side with Joey Bosa is going to be super fun to watch. They've been boasting up their defensive free agency. Signed Johnson from the Patriots. He's going to be playing corner out there. So they're going to be out there. And I think the only thing holding them back right now is can they just stop doing Charger shit, which goes down to coaching. Can Brandon Staley actually coach this team well and get them over the hump? And we all know Kansas City is going to be ready. Kansas City is, they would smell themselves last year. I really feel like they didn't take anybody in the playoffs seriously, and that's one of the reasons they lost to Cincinnati. Having their own head and ass. And so right now they're going to be trying to come back and try to get their crown back because for the first time in his career, Patrick Mahomes is being held to the fire, man. So it's going to be a fun division, but for Russ, I'm happy for him. I feel like a lot of people forgot just how good Russ is because of how the situation in Seattle has been. But at the same time, there's pressure on you now. You got to go out there and see if you can win this championship for him because Russ is still young. Russ is 33, 34 years old. He's still got a couple more years left. And with the way we've been seeing quarterbacks play lately, if he can stay healthy, there's no reason why he can't play into 40. So this is a real good signing for the Broncos. They gave up a lot, but when you're getting a franchise quarterback in this league, franchise quarterbacks do not grow on trees. A lot of teams have never found one. So I got to appreciate the Broncos for what they're going out there and doing. And I think it's going to be fun to watch. I'm really looking forward to that whole fucking division. And, I'm waiting to see how the rest of this play out, rest of free agency, the draft, before we can really find out, where the rankings are. But as of right now, super early prediction, I still have them as a third best team in the AFC West. But that's still an amazing trade for the Denver Broncos, man. On the other side of things, of course, Carson Wentz got traded to Washington. First of all, there's two things that Ryan Pace ever did for me in his tenure as Bears GM was one, not trading for Carson Wentz. I appreciate that. And two, trading up to get Justin Fields. Now, of course, the jury's still out on Justin, but if you look at all these other teams just trying to find anything, I mean, Mitchell fucking Trubisky just got paid $22 million by the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers. They're giving him another option. It just tells you how bad once you get past the big guns, how hard it is to find a quarterback. So it feels good to just even position to even have hope that Justin is the one. So I will give him credit for that, being able to do all of that to get him in position. But if you look at these other teams, man, you've got Wentz has been getting away with murder for years. He had that one good season in 2017 where he could have been MVP if he didn't get the ACL tour, but he's been nothing since. Left Philly, didn't do anything those last couple of years in Philly. Had a god-awful year last year. I mean, if you look at the numbers, it don't look like it was that bad in Indianapolis. But at the end of the last couple weeks of that season, where the offense for the Colts was really consistent because he wasn't good. It was just flat out called like it is. And in that last game against Jacksonville, we posted up one of the worst fucking quarterback ratings that you could ever see. I think the writing was on the wall of where this is going to happen. And if you're Washington, to give up picks for this guy just doesn't make any sense to me. I know Tyler Heineke is not, great or anything, but can you honestly, with a straight face, say that Carson Wentz is much better than Tyler Heineke? I mean, if he is, he ain't that much better. You could have kept your draft picks and just rolled it out with him. So I don't really understand that. And if you're the Indianapolis Colts, I mean, they're in another situation where I don't know where they go for quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of options coming off the board right now. I mean, Mitch was going to be an option. Then he signed with Pittsburgh, and now we've got, they're not in the Deshaun Watson talks. So I don't really know where Indianapolis is going to go, along with a whole bunch of other teams. I mean, the Giants signed Tyrod Taylor as a backup, which they're putting all their fruit into the Daniel Jones basket, which doesn't make any sense. I get it you have to, give him as many chances as possible, but that guy's just not good. And I feel like Tyrod would be a much better option, but it's very tough teams right here looking for a quarterback solution. So I'm just glad that the Bears even have an opportunity to even see what they have, because I don't understand a lot of these moves going on, man, especially that Carson Wentz move. But let's talk about Deshaun Watson. So Deshaun Watson, the charges last Friday got dismissed in his case, being accused of sexually inappropriate conduct by 20 different masseuses out there. A whole bunch of things. If you want to look out the whole case, look it up. And now that everything's been cleared, it's like he gets the pick of the litter of all his teams. I mean, he's out here having meetings like he's a free agent. Now, of course, we know he has a no trade clause contract. And no trade clause in his contract. So I understand why he's meeting them. He's meeting with he's met with the Cleveland Browns, met with the New Orleans Saints, met with the Carolina Panthers, and he's meeting with the Atlanta Falcons as of today. And also, they said the decision could come as soon as tonight. So when you're watching this, we might already know where he's going to sign. My issue is this, and this is nothing against Deshaun Watson's talent. I think he is extremely talented. I think he's generational. In fact, the reason I was so damn mad in 2017 when we drafted Mitchell Trubisky is because I wanted Deshaun Watson. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes. I didn't think Pat was going to be as good as he was today. He wasn't even on my radar. I knew what Deshaun could do. So whatever team Deshaun goes to, I think he's going to make them an instant contender. I mean, he's young as fuck. And, he's never played bad since he's been in the league. You just got to keep him healthy. But my problem is you see just how winning really matters over anything. Like in the NFL, but really in sports in general, where we're up here, it's like they didn't completely forgot about those women a couple weeks ago, last week. And now we're already talking about football. And, I understand, people can say, well, the charges got dismissed. That doesn't make him guilty. That's true, but it don't make him innocent either. I truly believe that when, a certain amount of people accuse you of something, I believe 20 people don't lie on one person. And even if it was just one or two of the women that he, was inappropriate with, that's one or two too fucking many, in my personal opinion. And I just don't like how, there was a real tweet from Adam Schefter last week that was real nasty. But it was like he was defending Deshaun Watson. That just means that they didn't, they didn't want to take it to court. He could have paid some of these ladies off. I wouldn't be shocked if that's what happened. And it just sees how quickly the narrative switches, to like he was like vindicated or something. And I just don't like that narrative that's going on. I think it's real unfair to the women who have accused him of this. And I think it's unfair to women across the world who have been, silenced when it comes to these type of things. And this situation right here is why women don't come out with abuse, because people don't believe them, and it'll be, just pushed under the rug, and they'll be acting like they're the ones who are lying here. So I just don't like how it's all being reported. And now, am I shocked that it's being reported this way? Absolutely not. We know in the grand scheme of things, these sports teams don't care about these. They don't care about anything. They just care about fucking winning, and they know that this guy can help them win. So on a football perspective, I do think he'll be a great addition to whatever fucking team he lands on. But let's just keep in perspective. Let's just listen to when women tell you about these things, man. And that's just pretty much my overall thought on it. I just think the whole process is real fucking nasty to me, man. So that's my take on Deshaun Watson and the quarterback carousel going on. When we come back, we're going to speak to my brother Flows, and we'll talk about what's been going on with Bears Nation, man. Hold you, man. Got my guest there. Of course, it's my brother Flows. You know to follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Flows Andolini. Of course, you can follow 79th and Hallis at 79th A&D Hallis on Twitter. It's a lot of craziness going down in the NFL world today. We got, all these different signings. Bears made all the trades official, the releases official, the new signings official. Khalil Mack is here in LA. He has his press conference. He looks fucking weird. As you can see, I got my jersey right here. I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but I'm probably covering it. But I have the Khalil Mack jersey in the back for his last day. How's it going on? What do you think the pulse is right now with the Bears and Bears fans?
I'm sure with Bears fans, it's probably saddening, to see someone who was playing for the Bears for how long? 4 years? And really became the face of the franchise, or really, he was the face of the franchise. I mean, even though they drafted Mitch Trubisky before him, that they drafted Justin Fields later, none of those dudes were the face of the franchise. It was Khalil Mack. And for all intents and purposes, he symbolized what it meant to be a Chicago Bear. He symbolized that completely. And to see him go, yes, it's saddening. It was necessary, but it was saddening. And I think right now, Ryan Poles is just in that mood in that mode where it's just time to clean out the house, see what we have as the foundation, What I mean by that, of course, is like if you're about to build a house or you want to tear down a house to build on and you want to make sure the foundation's good. It's the same with this team. Who are those foundational players? Okay, who are we going to keep? And who are the weak links, people we're going to release? And then who are the people that we can get value for? They're good, but just don't fit with this team. So.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. Like you said, everything has been, and when you look at this roster, and I always said this, when you look at the roster evaluation, obviously Ryan Poles felt like this roster is shit, and I hate to tear this thing all the way down. I know it's been hard for a couple Bears fans because, quote unquote fan favorites, Tariq Cohen is not here anymore, Danny Trevathan is not here anymore, Bilal Nichols signed with the Raiders. I know I'm missing somebody else. Eddie Goldman got cut. So it's like a whole bunch of things going on. And now we got Bears fans who have been pretty frustrated about the free agency period going on, which doesn't make any sense to me considering that Ryan Poles said that he was going to go through the second and third markets. Now, of course, they signed Larry Ogunjobi. I don't know if I pronounced his name wrong. He was on the Cincinnati Bengals. He got injured in that wild card game against the Raiders. We had a pretty good game. They signed Lucas Patrick for the offensive line. He was with the Packers last year, and of course they signed Nicholas Morrow, who was a linebacker, and he missed all of last season with the Raiders as being hurt. But these are three low quality signings. Except for Larry Ogunjobi, I think that's a really good signing. What's your opinion on these three new signings, and what do you think that's coming up next for the Bears in this free agency?
I think these signings were fine for depth. I forgot his name from the Bengals. I can't repronounce it.
Larry Ogunjobi
was probably the best out of all of them. It's someone who I would look at as competing for a spot on the team. Because right now, there's no really consistency on the line right now.
Right.
Larry Boren played 8 games, started 3. Tevin Jenkins was available for 6, started 2. Cody Whitehair is there. James Daniels is gone. Sam Usfer's not going to start anymore. And so who do you have really on the line is the question. You don't really know. And so right now, the Bears have to be patient. This is not a time for a team that's rebuilding to just jump off and sign everybody.
Right.
I think one of the biggest things with free agency is that who did we sign? Did we get this person? Did we get that person? And that's a nice entertainment factor. You know what I mean? Because it entertains you. You feel like, oh man, we signed this person. This is so dope. But that only takes you so far. You know what I mean? That really only takes you so far. If you get these big name splashes, but you spend so much money on this person that you hurt yourself when you need to get depth, it's not worth it. And so right now, I'm not going to be a person who's cheerleading Ryan Poles because I don't know what he's doing. I don't have the insider info. I like the signings for depth right now, and that's really the only thing they should be building. They should be building people who fit within their scheme for the defense, the 4-3, for the offense, an explosive offensive team, really an air attack offense, which is what they want. And everything else everybody needs to fit within this puzzle. You know what I mean? If there was a puzzle, you had a square piece, you couldn't put a circular piece, a triangular piece. You need what fits. And so right now, Bears fans shouldn't be expecting to be some big name splash unless they're going to take a friendly contract. And yeah.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And that's something the Bears have done the past couple of years. Well, through the whole Ryan Pace era, they've had some quote unquote big signings during free agency. That's nothing that's been new to Ryan Pace. But how many of those signings actually worked out? Taylor Gabriel was gone pretty quickly. Allen Robinson had maybe 2 good years out of his 4 in Chicago. All these other different signings. Robert Quinn just had a great year last year. So those don't automatically equate to wins. And also we gotta look at it, the landscape of the NFC North. Aaron Rodgers is back. So you're not gonna beat the Packers. You know what I'm saying? What you need to do right now is build this completely up as good as possible. So when Aaron Rodgers either retires or you're fully equipped to knock him out, you're ready to go. So I just feel like Bears fans, yes, I'm not championing Poles. I don't know what he's doing either, but it's just I'm not that I don't know what he's doing, but I don't know what it's gonna amount to because it's his first year as a GM. But I was like, all I'm like,
the truth is we don't know what he's doing.
That's true.
We're not in those meetings, and we don't act like we're insiders who have like I have Ryan Poles on standby. I can call him and say, "What you doing, bro?" We don't know. We can say he comes from this pedigree, he has this, but we don't know what he's doing. So all we can do is just wait and see.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Off topic with the Bears real quick, not too much, still waiting, for other signings going. All this shit is fluid. By the time you watch this, we might have signed somebody else. I don't know. I haven't looked at my phone in a second. But everything else going on in the NFL, it's been a crazy 2 weeks, well, 10 days, whatever, since everything's been going on. You know, Aaron Rodgers is back, Tom Brady's back, Russell Wilson is in Denver, Deshaun Watson, got off trial or whatever you want to call it.
Got out of the hell in the cell with the Texas Department of Corrections.
Exactly. Now he's got this pick of the litter. What's your thoughts on everything going on? Like, what's the biggest story to you in the NFL right now?
Well, it's Deshaun Watson. I mean, he a nasty nigga, but he is the talk of the town right now because when regardless of his behavior as a human, he is a talented football player. And whoever gets him, I mean, that's franchise changing. The Browns get Deshaun Watson, which I highly doubt. But if the Browns get Deshaun Watson, you start wondering, man, are the Browns a contender? Just like that. You know, you already have you got rid of Jarvis Landry and OBJ left last season, but you got Amari Cooper there, and you have Deshaun Watson. More importantly, if that happens, he is a person who makes an immediate contender out of all of them. The Russell Wilson signing today looked weird to see him there in Denver and talk about all this. It seemed like a changing of the guard in so many different areas. Things are changing and moving around the league. The only thing that remained really the same, which was sort of surprised, was Tom Brady coming back. You know, you think this was going to be his passing the torch moment. He's like, no, I'm going to hold on to the torch for a little bit longer.
Right.
So it has been one of the most exciting off seasons, and it just started that I can remember in recent memory. But yeah, it's big names. I did not see Khalil Mack in the Chargers jersey. I will not see Khalil Mack in that Chargers jersey. I'm going to
looks very weird.
I'm going to black that out of my memory. It seems wrong. I hope they can get him back a year from now. I don't like it, but you know.
I will say Khalil's been in LA in one day and he's already adapted to the wearing a hoodie in 80-degree weather. That policy that happens out here. So he's already adjusting. But off football, real quick, one last thing before we get you out of here. Any thoughts on this upcoming baseball season now that the lockout is finally fucking over?
Man, put up a shutter for the White Sox. That's all my thought is right now.
Yeah.
You know, I like Joe Kelly is probably the biggest sign that I like, you know, as a reliever. But that man. And as far as everything else goes, I mean, Chris Bryant going to the Rockies, that was just announced. It's a doo-doo team, but I guess you get that money.
7 years, 182, no trade clause. I thought it would be more than that.
I thought it would be in the 200 range.
Yeah, so did I. But I think all the old Cubs kind of like read the market wrong because Anthony Rizzo didn't get shit from the Yankees.
That makes sense. So yeah, I mean it's being. I'm so happy that baseball is back, but it's being overshadowed by the NFL, and it hasn't been really many splash. We're talking about entertainment. You know, when it's your team, I don't care about entertainment. I want something concrete and good. When it's other teams, you want something that's splashy. I haven't seen really anything splashy so far.
Yeah, even the MLB's condensed free agency moves slow as shit. We're waiting for you, Freddie Freeman. Once he signs, hopefully they'll open the floodgates. But that's pretty much all we got to talk to you about today, man. You know, it's off-season shit, a lot of shit going on. Of course, 79th House Presents will be dropping this week. We promise you. I know it sounds like we've been holding out like Detox, but it's coming by the end of this week. We'll be up. First episode will be free. So check that out, man. And you got your breakdown show that'll be coming soon. I don't know when it's coming soon, but it's coming soon. What about your solo podcast? Anything you want to tell anybody about that coming?
It's called A Chat with Big Folks. I have made my own name.
That's the official name.
The official name is A Chat with Big Folks. Scott has Scott original title was I got something to say, but that's a Scott ass title. It's not my type of title. My type of title is A Chat with Big Folks. Just imagine me having a cup of tea and chatting with you. And so it's literally a talk show, literally me talking for the entire show about anything and everything, and just me ranting. Imagine the Simpsons old man yells at cloud. That's going to be me in podcast format. If you like it, cool. If you don't, who cares? So that's me, passion project, really.
Passion project. Check that out on the Barbershop Network. You know to follow him at Flo Zandolini. Follow 79th and Hallis, 79th A&D Hallis on Twitter, man. We'll holler at you next time. Shout out to my brother Flows, man. It's always good to talk to him about anything Bears related, anything football related, man. Of course, you know you can check us out on 79th and Hallis. Since it's off season, we back with a free agency pod in a couple weeks when everything wraps up, man. But 79th and Hallis Presents will be dropping hopefully on Friday. Check that out, man. But let's switch gears a little bit, man. Let's talk about some baseball, man. Major League Baseball is back. Only 6 games were missed of the season. The season will kick off April 7th. Opening day is here, man, and the remaining 6 games will be made up in double headers sometime during the season. I'm happy that the lockout is over. The players did cave a little bit. Even if you look at the voting, a lot of the Players Association heads actually voted against the new CBA agreement, but the players are ready to go. And from a fan perspective, I'm just glad it's back because baseball is my second favorite sport. I know a lot of people, especially a lot of black people, they feel like it's a boring sport, which I will not disagree with you, to be completely honest with you. If my dad didn't make me a baseball fan when I was a kid, if I wasn't visiting a ballpark as a kid, I probably wouldn't be a baseball fan either. But it's like once you actually get into the sport, to me, it's a beautiful sport. And, it reminds me a lot of life. You know what I'm saying? Because you might have a couple bad days. You might have a couple bad days in a row, and it's like, okay, shake yourself off, man. Batting practice next day. It's baseball. It's a game every fucking day, so you don't really have a lot of time to reflect too much on your wins or be concerned too much about your losses. And that's what I love about the game, man. But the game is back, and right now we're in a holding period with free agency. Everybody is waiting for Freddie Freeman to figure out where the fuck he's gonna go. He's not gonna be going back to Atlanta, which I think is a huge misstep for the Atlanta Braves, fresh off a World Series championship, that you let your franchise walk out the building. And you go trade for Matt Olson, and Matt Olson is, he's a good third baseman. First baseman. We're not going to sit up here and act like he's a bad player. I don't know if I would pay him the money that he got paid, especially when you've got Freddie Freeman out there. He got signed to after the trade. He got signed to an 8-year, $168 million contract, which would go through the 229 season. I'm like, if you're going to give that to Matt Olson, you could have gave that to fucking Freddie Freeman, man. So even the funny thing about baseball is everybody's like, oh, this free agent period is gonna be fast. It's gonna be signings happening everywhere. It's been a week since the season's been back, and we're just now getting to signings. That even baseball's condensed regular season moves at a fucking snail's pace, man. But as I reported earlier at the top of the show, Chris Bryant will be going to the Colorado Rockies for 7 years, $182 million with a full no trade clause. Still wondering about where Carlos Correa is going to go. The rumor is that he might be going back to the Houston Astros, which would be huge. Maybe for like a 1-year deal, he can come back and test the market. Anthony Rizzo's back in New York. Of course, some of the earliest signings are for Corey Seager in Seattle, Javi Baez in Detroit. Whole bunch of list of things going on with baseball, man. But I'm gonna talk about my White Sox. And by the way, my White Sox podcast, he gone. I'll be joined by two co-hosts now. Of course, y'all know last season I only had like five, six episodes because I was the only one doing it. And I just didn't really have any motivation to do it by myself. But now I've got my guys. Of course, you watch the show regularly. You know the homie Mikey, who's done our gambling segments in the past. He will be joining me as one of my co-hosts on the He Gone podcast. And, of course, the homie Dante, who you all know he hosts with Ball Don't Lie and Cinema with the guys with me. And also the newly named president of Barber's Chair Network. Salute to Dante. He will be joining me also on He Gone, and we'll be having our first episode as the Big Three next week, where we'll break down everything going on with the White Sox and what we think they're going to do in this 2022 campaign. So far, the White Sox haven't made any major splashes, just 2 signings. Joe Kelly, one of the best relievers in baseball, is leaving the LA Dodgers and will be coming to the Chicago White Sox. We've got my man Harrison. I'm begging out on names right now. You know what I'm saying? So give me a second here. Here we go. The internet. So we got Joe Kelly is going to be signing, and then we've got my man Josh Harrison. Josh Harrison will be coming second base to the Chicago White Sox, and that fills 2 needs right there. But right now, the space that the White Sox are in right now, they're in year 3 of, I guess, the window. Really year 2 if you want to say fuck the COVID season of 2020. It was only 60 games. So let's just put that season to the side. So if we look at this year 2, had a very disappointing end to last year, losing in 4 games to the Houston Astros. Really didn't have any type of chance in that series. The one game that we did win was that miraculous 6-run comeback. But we pretty much got the brakes beaten off them. Carlos Rodon is not returning with the team. He signed a 2-year, $44 million deal with the San Francisco Giants. And so pretty much besides that, the team is back. Michael Kopech will be back as a full-time starter this year. Really, it's not about them winning the division this year. that should be in the past. That shouldn't be a concern of yours. The AL Central is still a bad division. I think Detroit will be a little more competitive than usual. You know, they've got some of their young guys. Of course, they got Javi Baez with them this year. But they're not going to be a threat yet. I still think they're a year or two away. Cleveland, if they're healthy, you can expect them to be competitive. But I still expect the White Sox to win this division by about 6 to 7 games. But this is about it winning a World Series championship. And as of now, there's still 2 major holes on this team. This team needs an everyday right fielder. This team needs another starting pitcher. If you look at the starting rotation for the White Sox right now, you really only got 2 reliable names. You got Lance Lynn and you got Lucas Giolito, who Lucas Giolito got big as fuck over all the offseason. I don't know. He gained 20 pounds of muscle. You know, he's a big dude now. You know, Dylan Cease had his best year as a starter last year, but he's still having problems finding the strike zone after 0-2 counts. And until that happens, we don't really know how good this kid can be. No matter how good we know his stuff is, can he contain that stuff? So that's a question mark going into this season. Michael Kopech was great last year in a reliever's role before he got hurt again, but this is his first 4 years as a starter, and he's coming off that Tommy John surgery. We don't know how he's going to be in his first year as a starter, so there's a lot of pressure on him and a team that's expected to be in the World Series hunt. And then you got the number 5 starter in Dallas Keuchel, who had a god-awful season last year. They're trying to give him up. My thing is this, and the problem with the White Sox for the longest time is they are a small market team in a big market. It just is what it is. Chicago is the 3rd biggest market, but they run like they're the fucking Tampa Bay Rays, and it makes no sense to me why you have this $1 billion owner in Jerry Reinsdorf who refuses to put money into this team. If you're banking too much on these young players, and I get that the core has to play better. Tim Anderson, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, you know, Jose Brady, Yo Moncada. These are the guys who got to ball out for this team to win the championship. Outside of Gavin Sheets in the playoffs last year, nobody, Gavin Sheets and my man Lurie Garcia, the only 2 guys that have a home run in the entire playoff series. Out of the White Sox core, nobody had an extra base hit. That is a problem just as much as the problem is with the defense. And so that's going to be something we need to pay attention to. Can this team get together? Because the American League is getting better. Boston's not going to go anywhere. Tampa's not going to go anywhere. Fucking Toronto's building a fucking powerhouse over there. They just traded for Matt Chapman today, and now they're trying to see if they can pry Jose Ramirez away from the Cleveland Guardians, which would be another huge addition to them. So the White Sox got to come with it, man. As a fan, I'm not going to panic on the roster yet. I'm not going to get angry at Rick Hahn yet. When this team comes back from Arizona from training camp, we'll see what the roster looks like. By then I'll react accordingly. One thing I don't like about White Sox fans, they're a very whiny fan base. And I get it. This team has really never been a winning franchise ever. We had a nice little year in 2005. We had the improbable run to the World Series championship that I'll never forget. But besides that, this team has been ass. Let's just call it like it is. Last year was the first time in the over 100-year history of this team that we made the playoffs in back-to-back years. This year, you have a chance to make it 3 years in a row. So that enough is just tell you how bad it's been. But all I'm going to say is what we said earlier with Ryan Polis from Bears fans. Let Rick Hahn work. We know he knows that he needs to get another pitcher, another right fielder. So we need to relax, see if he can get it done. But it's put up a shut-up time for the White Sox. I don't want to hear about the things I was hearing last year with a team to beat and things of that nature. And you go to the playoffs and you do absolutely nothing. I want to see them be a little more humble. I want to see that them take the regular season more seriously. I want to see them beat other contending teams in the regular season, which we did not do last year. I want to stop getting our fucking heads kicked in by teams like the Yankees, by the Rays, and, you know, Boston, the guys who you're going to have to meet in the playoffs. So I'm really eager to see how this team is going to come into it. Now, the first series is going to be on the road in Detroit. And for those of you who don't remember, Tim Anderson is suspended for the first series of the season because of the altercation with the umpire in the series in Detroit to end the season last year. So you will see a lot of Lurie Garcia and Josh Harrison in the infield to start the season. But overall, I think this team is going to be good, be in the race. And I just hope they make the moves to be able to actually win that World Series championship, man. So that's all I got for baseball. We're going to see what happens in the rest of free agency. I think once Freddie Freeman signs, the rest of the floodgates will open, and then we'll start to see the second and third markets on the free agency open up, and then we'll start to see more trades, man. But let's talk about the NBA, which is everybody who subscribes to this channel, HNB Media. You know, that's the main thing you guys here for, basketball, man. I want to break down the top three storylines I've got over the past week in basketball, man. Let's go with my number three storyline. Anthony Davis comments on the Phoenix Suns, man. Before the Suns played the Lakers this past Sunday, AD was speaking to the media. They were asking about his rehab and things of that nature. And he brought up saying that, that the Suns got lucky with their trip to the finals last season. And if he was playing, that it wouldn't have happened that way. And he knows that they got away with one. The Los Angeles Lakers are the most talkative ninth seed I've ever seen in my fucking life. Anthony Davis needs to shut the fuck up. Yes, they were up 2-1 when he got hurt, but do y'all forget that Chris Paul also was hurt in that series? It's being very petty to bring that up, especially in a situation where in this year you're not even as good as you were last year, and to talk shit to a team that took advantage of those holes. I mean, the Lakers took advantage of a bubble. We can sit up here and talk. We can come here and talk about that ring's fluky if you want to go that way. If you look at every championship in the history of sports, no matter what fucking league it is, there's always a what if. What if this happened? What if that happened? So we can do that with every damn championship you want. You can do every type of sports thing. What if Michael Jordan didn't come back in 93? What would the Bulls have done if he never came back? What if he actually retired and kept that baseball career? What if the Lakers didn't come back from 17 down in Game 7 against Portland, in 2000? What if they'd actually called a damn technical on David Blatt, 7 years ago in that series between the Bulls and the Cavs? Do the Cavs get eliminated? We can say that with everything. And he just comes off salty. And on top of that, you're not fucking playing, dude. You ain't been playing all fucking year. You can't fucking stay healthy. You need to be worried about your own fucking health instead of popping off with the fucking mouth. I'm just fed up of hearing about Anthony Davis. I'm fed up about hearing about the Lakers. And this is not just a one-year thing for AD. This is his whole fucking career. The dude can't stay healthy. I don't know what it is. He just can't stay healthy and stay on the court. So long term for the Lakers, no matter how they try to fix this roster in the offseason, which is going to be a task to begin with, can this dude stay healthy for it to matter? And I just need him to shut the fuck up and just, worry about his rehab, man. He's doing a little bit way too much talking for my liking, man. Number two storyline. The Philadelphia 76ers, I feel like I kind of leveling back down to earth. I mean, they started off pretty good on a 4-game win streak when Harden started playing after that trade. They're playing a little lesser teams. Played the Bulls with missing 4 fucking starters in that game. But now they've been losing to some other tough teams. Had a tough loss a couple of nights ago to the Denver Nuggets, getting out, and he didn't get outplayed, but had Jokic come in his house, win that game, and then you go out there, they got demolished by the fucking Brooklyn Nets last week. Lost to the Miami Heat. I still think the biggest problem with this team, and this has been a problem that's followed this dude his entire career, can James Harden do it when the lights are on? Which we have yet to see him do it. Last Thursday is probably one of the most hyped regular season games I've seen in a long time. And he went out there and had a horrific shooting performance. He passed Reggie Miller in the all-time 3-point shooting, but he played like shit. So when the lights are on, can he step up and actually do what he was brought over here to do? I don't know if he can. We haven't seen it his whole entire fucking career. And if you're looking at Brooklyn right now is not a team I want to face. I would stay out of that top 2 so fucking much if I was Miami or anybody up in that top 2. You don't want to see them. I understand we don't know what's going to happen with Kyrie Irving. Is he going to be able to play? Games of Barclays. We still don't know what's going to happen with that vaccine mandate rule. I still think that is going to get changed because now the Yankees and the Mets are getting involved. The Yankees got 8 players that can't play because they don't have the vaccine. And all due respect to the Nets, nobody in New York City really gives a shit about the Nets. That is a Yankees and Knicks town. So if anything, I think that maybe they have a chance to get it just because they want Aaron Judge and some of those dudes to play. But Philly, man, I feel like they're the team out of all the Eastern Conference real contenders. And when I say real contenders, I'm only counting Philly, Miami, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee, and really Miami is the 4th in those. But just off Miami's defense, I'm not going to say that they're subject to upset like I feel Philly can be because of the choke artist of James Harden and being able to keep it buck Doc Rivers. And I think Doc Rivers is a cool guy. I'm gonna get my Stephen A on. I met Doc Rivers one time at LAX airport. We had a good time for 30 minutes waiting for our flight. We talked about the Bears. But he has not been the best in these situations in the playoffs, so he's got a lot to prove. So I feel like there's any team who could go home in the first round or in the second round, it'll be the Philadelphia 76ers until we can see what exactly that James Harden can do, man. So I think all eyes are on Philly. They need to validate that trade somehow, some way, man. So I'm waiting to see how that's gonna go. And my number one storyline for the NBA is the return of the Warriors' big three, man. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and of course Stephen Curry played their first game this week against the Washington Wizards. This is their first time on the court, all three of them, in over 1,000-something days. It's been 3 years this time on the court together. It was Game 6 of the 2019 NBA Finals, man. That was only 3 years ago. We feel like we've lived 4 fucking lifetimes since then, you know, with everything been going on, man. And it was just fun to see that three on the court again. I think this is huge for the landscape of not just the Western Conference, but the NBA, because I feel like Draymond Green is probably the most underrated player in the NBA. Just what he brings to this roster, not only defensively, but the offense looks much more in sync. And the Warriors were struggling. They were struggling tremendously without him. You know, Steph has been shooting like shit. Klay has been having a hard time. And you get Draymond back for one game. We have one of Steph Curry's best shooting performances. He scores 47 points. 41 of those 47 was scored with Draymond Green on the court. Klay Thompson was getting better looks, and he just makes this team better. And I think they're back to being a legit championship contender. And if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, this is not really the best thing for you, because you're gonna have to eventually run into them in a second round series. And I understand the Grizzlies have been great. They're a young team. Ja is in the MVP conversation, but the Warriors are battle tested. Like Draymond said, they don't really give a damn about the 2 seed. If they get it, cool. But if there's a Game 7 in Memphis, you think these dudes are worried about that? Absolutely not. But the thing right here is one, a collision course between the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. Now, I do believe the Phoenix Suns are the favorites. They should be the favorites. They have been the best team in this regular season by far. I mean, even without Chris Paul, this team has been a well-oiled machine. Devin Booker has been playing well. They even won a big game without Devin Booker when he was out to COVID. So this is a team that, you know, I feel like they got the experience of last year, knowing what it takes to not just get to the finals, what they need to do to win the finals. But they didn't have to run into the Warriors last year. And it's one thing that Chris Paul's kryptonite is Stephen Curry. So I'm interested to see how that series is going to be if they do meet. But the Warriors have a legit chance to win a championship, man. I think if you're a fan, no matter how much whether you hate them or not, they're fun to watch. And I'm just happy to see them back, man. So it's going to be fun to see where they finish in the stretch run, man. So that's all I've got for the NBA. We're going to wrap this episode off. My goofy mug of the week. Of course, you know I'm not a fan of this guy, and you actually be shocked. This is the first time he's won this award. First time he's won this award in the history of since I've been doing Goofy Mug of the Week, not just on this show, but when it was on Bald on Live before this, and when it was on 79th and Hallis prior to that. This guy has never gotten this award. But I'm giving a Goofy Mug to LeBron James. And the reason I am doing that is because I don't like the way that he's carrying about these last couple weeks. You know, he's as my dad said, he's selling wolf tickets. I hear with that I'm a bad motherfucker after you beating the fucking Washington Wizards, but when you playing against a team like the fucking Phoenix Suns, you don't want to run back on defense. You know, things that is really starting to piss me off. And, you know, he's acting like he's the victim in this situation when you put this fucking team together. And LeBron's not the only one to blame. The media is also to blame. The fans are the one to blame because y'all let them get away with this shit. Like I said a couple minutes ago, I've never seen a more loud 9th seed in my fucking life. Just fucking, if there's one thing that they just need to go away. I need the Lakers and LeBron to go the fuck away. I don't even want to see them in a fucking play-in. If they do find a way to beat New Orleans, I'm not seeing them beat the loser of Wolves Clippers at all. I just want to go away. And this is no disrespect to his game, and I'm going to keep saying that because people act like when you say something about LeBron, it's like you're saying something bad about his play. 100-something points in a week is insane at any age, especially his. It was incredible. It was an efficient, 60-point game or whatever he had a couple days ago. Great. But let's just stop with the loud talking shit thing, man. But when you had a problem when Desmond Bain was talking shit to you a couple months ago and the Grizzlies bodied y'all, it's like every fucking second I look up, the Lakers are fucking down 20. You know, you getting outclassed by the fucking Pelicans. You know, who was that they lost to the other night when they was down by 30? I don't even fucking know. It happens all the damn time. It was it Washington? I don't know who the fuck it was. I didn't lost count of how many times the Lakers have fucking lost. So I just want this Laker team to go away. I'm just tired of them and Kyrie. I just want this whole situation to go away, man. So I'm gonna give it to him, and also I'm gonna give it a little bit to Kevin Durant. I'm gonna say to Katie, my man, but shut the fuck up, man. You can't go back and forth with a mayor. If there's one thing that politicians don't like, is to be shown up when you're out here sticking up for your boy Kyrie, especially not a mayor or a politician who used to be a cop. That's double pride going on right there. You're not helping the situation any more than you think you are right now. And do I think it's a dumb rule? Yes, it is beyond stupid that you can have 40,000 people in an arena with no mask, no vaccine, and even the opposing players don't have that vaccine or mask, but they can play, but Kyrie can't play. I understand it's nuts, but you know which way you can stop all this? By walking your ass over to CVS and getting the goddamn shot. And let's end this fucking conversation. So I'm tired about hearing about him, tired of hearing about LeBron. I'm tired about hearing Ben fucking Simmons, man. I'm gonna give a 4 Goofy Mog of the week to fucking LeBron, KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons. Just stop, man. So that's all I got for y'all today. A lot to cover, man. A lot to cover in sports right now. It's a crazy time. Looking forward to the stretch run this NBA season. Got a couple weeks for the playoffs. We should be back in 2 weeks. We'll see what it's looking like in 2 weeks. If not, we'll be back in 3 weeks after playing games are over. But we'll see, what if there's anything to talk about in 2 weeks. It's kind of a dead period right now once the signings are over. So, but stay tuned for that. I appreciate everybody who continues to watch this show. One thing, brother, for joining me here on I'm Not Gonna Hold You. We'll be back, man. Follow me on Twitter at Barberchair Scott. Follow HNB Media, HNB Media TV on Twitter, and at HNB Media on Instagram. Of course, follow Barberchair Network at Barberchair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barberchair Network, man. RIP Razor Ramon, man. We out.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah, we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you.